2025 Kumo FIA TCR World Tour began in style in Mexico City before continuing to Europe with rounds in Valencia, Monza and Villarreal. A thrilling spectacle featuring a total of 10 races and 6 different winners.
The first part of the season has been very exciting because Mexico was the first time for us, and then coming home to Europe, doing these great track sets we did with Monza, Villarreal and Valencia. Perfect start of the season. So no, I think I am very happy.
And the second half of the season begins in Australia at the Bend circuit.
No, the second part of the season starts now, but we have been a little bit having problems with the transport of the cars, so they are late here to Australia. Due to this, we have to change the schedule a bit, change the races, so we will do 2 races here instead of 3. I think we are so lucky that all the work has been put in that we're able to race. Big thanks to the organization to doing this, everybody. So I'm happy to start the season now. For us as the drivers, it's so easy. We just have to focus on being as fast as we can, as fast on track, but to learn the track as fast as possible. We will see more mistakes, we can see more overtakings, There's more things that can happen because it's so short, compressed. And as a driver, when we roll the dice to start tomorrow, anything can happen.
Anything can happen indeed in a qualifying session that would prove crucial for the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour field. The 3.076 mile, the Bend circuit, would prove to be a cruel mistress for many. Qualification, name of the game, would be get out there and set the early laps on a track that was giving up very little grip. Early on Saturday morning, the Olympico Cyan Racing cohort, headed by Jan Erlichey, were early pace setters. However, all eyes would go to the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. Mikael Afkona and Norbert Mikkelis heading the pack. Norby at the very death of Q2, snatching away position from Typo rival Erlichey. It would be Mikael Afkona though, the driver with the most pace here in South Australia. Absolutely dominant at the head of the pack was the 196, showing a clean set of heels by a healthy 7/10 of a second from teammate Mikkelis behind. Afkona would later claim it to be one of his best qualification sessions, and few would argue with that. A 1 minute 54.406 be the time to beat. Let's have a look then at our starting grid. Mikael Afkona from Norbert Mikkelis is your front row of the grid. Jan Erlichey and Josh Buchan will line up in 3rd and 4th positions respectively. Starting from P5 is the 111 of Ted Bjork. He's got Nacho Montenegro for company, with Marcin Quar and Esteban Gurriere set to start this race from 7th and 8th. 9th goes the way of Nestor Girolami, Aurelian Comte, alongside Santiago Urrutia, and Ryan McMillan will start 11th and 12th for both races. Go dear, that is Ryan McMillan down in pit lane, so McMillan in some kind of strife already, but there we go, the green flag waves at the back of the field. The lights will go on, the lights will go out, and we will be racing in the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour Round 11 from Tellum Island in go, and it's a great start for Mikael Afkona at the head of the pack. Already Jan Erlichey trying to find a way past No, but Mikkelis, Santiago Urrutia slow off the line further down, but Mikkelis in second position, covers that inside line. LSJ can't find room, is given the racing space by his teammate as well. A little bit further back, Nacho Montenegro, Josh Buchan trying to buy into the fight. Buchan on the defensive, covers off the 27. There's Jordan Cox going for a bit of an adventure in the GRM Run Peugeot. Cox returns the car to the racetrack, perhaps reacquaints himself, having got it fresh out of fourth position in Trans Ams in the previous race, straight back into the cockpit of a TCR car. Takes a bit of re-acclimatisation, does Jordan Cox. He'll pick back up Josh Buchan now under pressure from Nacho Montenegro behind. Marching one, keeping the watching brief. Esteban Gurrieri gets away from the line cleanly, gains no positions, stays in 8th place. Bjork under pressure from Buchan. This is the opportunity for Josh. He's got a bit of local knowledge on this circuit. He's raced here before, of course. He'll be using that one to good advantage if he can. But Bjork, stemming the flow of the challenge behind, seems to have it covered there. Santiago Urrutia didn't get away from the line, did Santi? He's all the way down there in 17th position from 11th on the grid. His day's just got a whole lot more difficult as Mikael Afkona at the head of the pack. A comfortable lead coming in to the conclusion of the first lap of racing action. So look, gets the switchback, has the straight line speed. Can he get the line covered into the braking zone? Yes, he can. Runs a little bit deep though, Bjork trying to find a way past. That was very nicely done from Josh Buchan indeed. In fact, while they're squabbling, Nacho Montenegro thinks this looks like a whole lot of fun. Maybe I'll have a go as well. Montenegro now climbing over the rear bumper of the 111. Not able to find a way past. Ted Bjork very firmly in a defensive posture now. We'll be looking in the mirrors, checking the line, make sure the inside's not open to Montenegro. Well, it's Nacho we're talking about. A little bit of a kiss of grass, and the inside line is open. Thank you very much. That's an aggressive pass from the 1-2-3, but it's effective, and he's up in a 5th. Mikael Afkona starts his 3rd lap of the race with a comfortable 2.8 second lead. Right then, let's take a look at the start. Santiago Urrutia struggled to get away from the line. There is the 1-1-2. Everybody does a sterling job of making their way around the stranded Lincoln Co. Josh Buchan, plenty of excitement in the middle of the field as well. First time he started at the TCR car for quite a while, the Australian driver, but Buchan very much picking up where he left off, showing the class that is so very evident in the TCR Australia double champion. There is what happened to Jordan Cox. A little bit of a sideways moment, gathered together relatively quickly in the P51 Peugeot. Another little replay, Zach Suter potentially. A little bit of a rat-a-tat-tat on the rear quarter of that beautiful looking machine. And then this is the Josh Buchan and Ted Bjork incident and pass. A little bit of a kiss between the two of them for Buchan and Bjork. And it's advantage to the Australian driver. This is seen on board now from Ted Bjork's perspective. Has the inside line covered. That's the overlap. That's the secondary kiss. He didn't think about it, did Ted? But the gap very quickly closed up. Great driving there from Josh Buchan. And a very welcome reward. A 4th position is his. Last time around, a 1 minute 57.7 versus a 57.3 for Norbert Mikkelis. So Buchan has a little bit of pace to find. He wants to close up with his sister Hyundais ahead, but more importantly, he wants to get into that fight with Jan Erlesheim. That's going to be the important one for the Hyundai squad. That's going to be the important one for Josh. Can he have a conversation about the bottom step of the podium as we look at Esteban Gurrieri? Relatively stable start for the Argentinian driver. Qualified in 8th position, currently runs in 8th position. Gurrieri, half of the battle in touring cars, is staying out of trouble on the opening laps. That's exactly what Esteban Gurrieri has done. Look at this shot here. This is beautiful onboard camera work here in the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Absolutely loving that one for the run down into T1. You can see the deceleration zone, just how hard these drivers have to work on both pedals as well as the wheel to try and extract a lap time here from tail and bend. 5-second time penalty for 196. That's your race leader. Car number 196. That is Mikel Azcona. 5-second time penalty. 107 has a time penalty as well. Aurelian Comte. Number 112 is Santiago Arrutia. How he got a jump start, I do not know. And then the number 74 of Brad Harris. That's a shame for Brad as well, doing a good job so far. Up there in 12th position. But 5-second time penalty for your race leader, ladies and gentlemen. What's his gap to Norbert Michaelis? 3.2 seconds as things stand. So Azcona, if the race stopped right here and now, would demote to second place. Hence the reason the Spanish driver is going like a fast thing in Fastville. Norbert Michaelis will be well aware Gabriele Rizzo would have been on the phone just to let him know your teammate has a 5-second penalty. If you can stay within 5 seconds, Norbe, you'll be inheriting this race victory at the checkered flag. Game on for the Hungarian driver, looking, hunting, searching for his second win of 2025. He won in Italy a couple of rounds ago. Ideally like another race victory to his name. Mikel Azcona is 6 seconds clear of Jan Elishay in third position. So far, if things end as they are, he would hold on to the top 2 position. He's absolutely gunning for the race win. He's got 1.2 seconds to find. It's very possible for the halfway distance of this race for Mikel Azcona, but he's made his life a whole lot more difficult indeed. We'll keep our eye on that one. We'll keep our eye on this one. So we're riding on board now with Ted Bjork. Has the pace, it seems, but not quite able to get himself in a position where he can launch an attack just yet. Chinese driver, though, I think he'll be relatively satisfied with his day's work. It was difficult in qualifying, oh so very close to not making it through into the crucial top 10. Found the pace where he needed to with Marcin Hua, and so far in racing conditions, that pace seems to be coming on top very strongly indeed. Last time around, by the way, a 2 minutes 0.6 for Mikel Azcona versus a 1:58.4. So a mistake for Mikel. 2.5 seconds now is the gap between first and second. As things stand, Azcona will drop behind his teammate Michaelis. A 4.97 seconds at the last checkpoint for Mikel. He's not quite there yet. It is just a few millimetres of extra paintwork, a few millimetres more of racetrack to secure it for Mikel Azcona, who ride with our race leader now on the racetrack at least. He's got that 5-second time penalty hanging over his head, but let's follow the 196 through the last few corners. Pole position by 0.7 of a second. Never looked troubled under racing conditions than Mikel Azcona, but one small mistake off at the start could make the difference between first and second positions. Through the last corner then we go, accelerating to the line, on track at least. Mikel Azcona takes the checkered flag for victory in round 11 of the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Second over the line goes Norbert Michaelis. In third position goes the way of Jan Elishay. But let's have a look at the timing screens. What is the gap to the leader? Times have been adjusted, and by 0.0024, Norbert Michaelis is your race winner. Mikel Azcona demoted into second position. Jan Elishay finishing in third. It's still a BRC Hyundai victory, but by the smallest of margins. 0.002 separating Mikel Azcona from race winner Norbert Michaelis. Jan Elishay rounding out the podium positions, and Josh Buchan an impressive fourth and leading the TCR Australia Cup. A valuable win then for Norbert Michaelis in the first race of the day in Australia.
I did my best, and I heard from the team that it was a very small margin in between the two of us. I think Mikel was the faster driver today, but for pity he didn't win the race. Nevertheless, I'm happy. It's still a 1-2 for the team, so the boys deserved.
Good, great drive, well done, and enjoy your podium. Let's party!
And here is the starting grid for round number 12. Aurelian Comte and Bebu Girolami in the front row. Esteban Gurrieri and Marcinkois line up in 3rd and 4th positions respectively. From 5th place is the aforementioned Nacho Montenegro. He's got Ted Bjork for company, and then it's the lead of our Australian cohort, Josh Buchan, in 7th, just ahead of Jan Earlische, with Norbert Mikkelis starting 9th, and the pace man this weekend, Mikael Afkona, in 10th. Santiago Urrutia and Ryan McMillan are 11th and 12th positions respectively. Then Cody Bircher in 13th, just ahead of Brad Harris. Lose Ho will start from 15th, Zach Suter in the Audi in 16th position. We will go motor racing here at the Bend Motorsports Park for the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour. Round number 12 is underway, and ahead of the pack, Aurelien Comte, a little bit slow from the line. Good second phase at the start though. That opens the door to Esteban Gurrieri. Drag race between Gurrieri and Bebu Girolami. The 129 of Girolami has the inside line. Gurrieri though can't find a way past around the outside. Goes Girolami, very cautious into the first corner for Aurelien Comte. Thinking almost caught the Argentinian driver out. Around the outside then goes Bebu. It is an early race lead for the BRC Hyundai driver. A little bit further back, Gurrieri having the squabble of his own. Jordan Cox working his way through the pack, and the GRM Peugeot as well. We're riding on board now with the Argentine driver in 3rd position. There's Nacho Montenegro at the back of your shot, diving to the inside of Josh Buchan. Buchan under a little bit of pressure. There we go, Ted Bjork trying to find his way past as well. Montenegro made the move in fine style. He moves up in a 4th position. Buchan down a 5th. Bjork to the outside line, can't find enough real estate, does well to gather the Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machine back together again. Stays in 6th position, does the Swedish driver, but he is on the attack. At the front of the field though, Bebu Girolami did the hard work he needed to do into T1. Exciting stuff then over the opening few corners here at Tailem Bend. Aurelien Comte caught napping into T1. He'll be frustrated about that one. Marcinkois having a look to the inside of Earlische. Earlische takes the position for now. In fact, it passes Mar. That is Jan making his way past Marcinkois, riding on board with Norbert Mikkelis. He dearly love to get into the ribs of the 155 ahead, try and get past the Chinese driver and get in contention with his big championship rival Jan Earlische. This is an opportunity though, this is an opportunity. Esteban Gurrieri forcing the issue to the inside through the final corner. Both drivers keep it on the racetrack. Gurrieri performs and Miller needs a precise overtake. That is absolutely how you do it here at the Bend. Gurrieri, for his benefit, is now up in the 2nd position. In fact, that's Nacho Montenegro and Josh Buchan all swarming around. Really contact between Montenegro and Buchan. Buchan gathers the car together, the Australian driver. Good bit of car control there. Montenegro now buying back into this one. Aurelien Comte skirtles his way back up in front of the Australian driver. So Aurelien on the defensive. That's Ted Bjork. He takes advantage as well. Bjork a few car lengths further back. Takes advantage of the kerfuffle in front of him. Buchan now on the defensive. We spoke to Alex on the grid. There's been a little bit of work undertaken on that Hyundai Elantra overnight. Feeling confident of the Australian team coming into this one. Let's take another look at the start. Initially, it was a fairly sedate start away from the line for Aurelien Comte. 2nd phase seemed to work in the favour of the French driver. Heavily defensive down into T1, but keep your eye on Nestor Girolami. He started in a 2nd place squabble. I think he caught him out himself. Very reluctant on the brakes for Aurelien. A lot of caution there, sailing around the outside. Fernando Alonso West, outside becomes inside. The bravery becomes position and race lead game. This is how Esteban Gurrieri got the job done for 2nd position. Forcing the issue to the inside line for the final corner. Not a traditional passing place here at the Bend. But great stuff from Gurrieri, and sadly for Aurelien Comte. Kind of got swallowed up by the pack from that one. There's a little bit of contact between Buchan and Montenegro, maybe working in his favour to retake some of those lost positions. So look at Ted Bjork. Ever the hunter, ever the cool and calm head on wide shoulders. Just waits for the inevitable and then finds himself a nice free bit of real estate in which to insert himself. Good stuff there from Ted Bjork, using all of his experience and talent and skill to very, very good effect indeed. It worked nicely for Ted. He's up into 6th position. That's where he started. It's been a bit of a yo-yo race for Ted Bjork. So far, so good. 6th position, and crucially for him, riding with Ted Bjork, not quite as comfortable, it seems. There's a pestering Jan Ellisher. You can tell which car is Jan's. It's the one with the bright pink wind mirrors. And I think our driver's championship leader is starting to get, I don't know what's the word to use, enthusiastic, shall we say? Yes, enthusiastic will do, about passing his teammate, and there we go. Choreographed almost amongst the pair of them. Telegraphing that one nicely, only Ted Bjork in no mood to defend that position. Nicholas and Nicholas Kona go side by side, and a little bit of team play, methinks there as well. Mikel takes that position away. Norby vulnerable to the chasing Santiago Arrutia. Santiago has a look to the outside line. That's suboptimal, as Ron Dennis would say. And Norbert Nicholas walks the Lincoln Co all the way to the edge of the circuit, as is his right. For him, then we go to the inside for Mar. Around the outside goes Mikel Afkona. A little bit of contact between the two of them. The outside becomes the inside. Bounce off the curb as well for good measure. Great bit of driving from Mar there to force the issue. Stay on the outside line. Retake that position. Afkona then is going to have to think again. He's going to have to try a little bit harder. Tries to line up the move. Follows in the wheel tracks of the Lincoln Co Cyan racing machine. Sends it nice and early to the outside line. Putting Mar off. Mar runs slightly deep. Locks the inside rear wheel. Very touring car rest there. The Chinese driver doing everything he needs to do to hold off the Spaniard behind. But with 3 laps left to go on Josh Buchan. 1 more lap to go. Just 3 miles. Josh Buchan is going to hold on to that 5th position. A little bit further back. Could this be a change around with the C in the BRC Hyundai squad? Yes, it is. Mikel Afkona repaying the favour to teammate Norbert Nicholas. Gives that position back. Norby returns into 9th place. Afkona, though, is vulnerable to Santiago Arrutia. This is a carbon copy of what we saw when position changed a few laps ago. But Afkona seems to have the number of his Uruguayan driver and rival behind. And Arrutia, try as he might, can't quite find a way past. This is a replay then, riding on board with Norby. Good bit of driving there for Mikel. Pulls off to the right-hand side, gives Norby the racing line. On the line into T1. Gary's driver greenly and gratefully retakes that 9th position. Here's Bebu Girolami. No more deserving victor has there been. Dominant performance. Fabulous stuff. Valencia was the last time. Tellem Island at the bend. Bebu Girolami crosses the line, takes the checkered flag, and with it, race victory here in Australia. Celebrations in the goat racing pit lane as well for their man Esteban Gurrieri crossing the line in 2nd position. Nacho Montenegro, his 2nd podium in the Kumo FIA TCR World Tour, crosses the line in 3rd as well. Great job from the Spanish squad in 2nd and 3rd. Sensational job from the Argentinian driver, driving for the Italian team with a Korean car. And a sensational performance to boot. 1st place for Bebu Girolami, heading home an Argentina podium lockout. Esteban Gurrieri from Nacho Montenegro. Josh Buchan rounding out the top 5 as ahead of the TCR Australia pack. A dominant performance and a great weekend for BRC.
The feeling is very good. We recovered a little bit from a very tough start of the season for us in Mexico back then. And now we are recovering points, still very far away from the really fight for the championship. We need to have good result also in Korea. It's very important for us. I'm very looking forward to racing ENG. Will be our home race, so can't wait to stay there with all the fans. And for me also, it's very important to keep this phenomenal pace during the last 3 events to try to arrive in Macau with possibilities to fight. This is the main goal this year.
And for the championship, the fight is most certainly on. A podium lockout in 2nd and 3rd for GOAT Racing, plus Esteban Gurrieri, 36 points in arrears of Jan Ellisher in the driver standings, with Korea, China and Macau still to go. It's goodbye then from South Australia after 2 thrilling races at the Bend. The Kumo FIA TCR World Tour will be back in action again the weekend of the 17th and 18th of October as we head to the ENG Speedium in Korea. 2025 championship charge is a light See you next time.